Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD Starcraft and I am back for another Heart of the Swarm broadcast, and today I'll be doing a matchup between a very well-known Protoss player. He is known as MC. He's the red Protoss player in the top left-hand corner of the map, and his opponent is also a Korean player, and his name is Hyun. He is the blue Zerg player in the bottom left-hand corner of Star Station. Both of these guys are very, very good StarCraft players, and I am looking forward to seeing a very good match. I'm only going to be doing one match, and I'll be doing another one later today, but not from a series or a set. So this was not a series or a set. This is just one match. And as you guys all know, DreamHack Summer just concluded, so I'll be doing a lot of DreamHack Summer replays over the next few weeks as well. Also, I'll be leaving out to Vegas in a couple of days, so for those of you guys who have been stayed tuned to my channel, you know I won't be uploading too many videos over the next week or so, but I will be back next week, and I'll be back to my usual broadcasting when I do come back. Anyways, guys, I do want to say, if you guys have any sick replays, feel free to send them into HDreplays@gmail.com, but also do not forget, if you have any replays that you think qualify for Failcraft or any weird like Bronze League games where you just had an epic fail cheese, don't forget to send those in as well. I haven't mentioned it in a long time, but people still do send them in to me, and I do want to continue to do that series, the Failcraft series, whenever I get a chance to. So do send in your replays. I will be taking a look at those, and I think the number I'd be on right now is like Failcraft 9 or something like that, so that would be really cool for me to bring the series back and cast those for you guys. So yeah, send it into HDreplays@gmail.com. And let's go ahead and get right into this game, guys. Now Hyun, of course, the Zerg player, very, very good Zerg. He is going to throw down a hatchery, so he was able to get that down before MC could block it off for any longer. And MC, also a famous Protoss, won the GSL. He's also known to be one of the most aggressive Protoss in the world. He can be very aggro on one base. It's something you have to keep your eye out for. But nowadays, I do think that MC has slipped just a little bit. He's not near the top tier as he was before. I do think Hyun is up there with him, if not surpassed him, in terms of skill level. So I'm very interested to see how this match is going to go down. Protoss versus Zerg, I've been doing a lot of those lately. I do want to cast some more PvT, so if I ever get some replays of some good ones, I'll make sure to cast that, obviously. And we do have Hyun here trying to go for a hatchery. It looks like he will get that hatchery down, but the probe was able to scout it out, so MC will know that a quick third is on the way. He was also able to gander into the main base, and I think from there he was able to sniff out no extractors, so he knows that Hyun is not going to be going for any early aggression or any early technology. In fact, he will be droning up very hard, and that means MC can try to exploit that and be the aggressive Protoss that we all know and love. In fact, he has not thrown down a Nexus yet. He has purposefully, I believe, blocked himself at 26. No, he's got the pylon coming up at the front there. I thought he was going to try to go for a heavy aggro build there, but he does have a pylon coming, so we'll see if he decides to expand, but he could certainly still be aggressive with this mothership core and the stalker that he's got on the field. I think that stalker is actually on the way right now, so no, there is a stalker. It is actually making its way down to the bottom left-hand corner as we speak, and we'll see if MC can get any damage done. Now, without the early Zealot, it's actually pretty hard for Protoss to inflict early casualties on Zerg. Usually you need that Zealot to tank the Queen and to tank the Zerglings, but in fact, it looks like those Zerglings from Hyun decided to just run right on by. Now remember, these actually more Zerglings are running right on by, and so Hyun here not even bothering to save this hatchery. Instead, he's going to go for a complete counterattack, sideswiping the Mothership Core and the Stalker, and it makes sense. I mean, he cannot take down the Mothership Core without the assistance of anti-air, so he's got to wait for the Queens to come out, and 2 Queens should be able to get the job done with a couple of Zerglings as well. I like what Hyun's doing, and meanwhile, he's gotten a run by in front of MC's natural expansion. He is going to get that sentry surrounded, 1 force field coming out to save it, but it won't be enough. The sentry will go down. Meanwhile, it looks like the Queens, not sure where they went. They stayed on the creep, and the Mothership Core and the Stalker were warped back home for emergency saving purposes. There is a red alert going on right now inside the Protoss base. As you guys can see, a lot of Zerglings are in here right now, and MC could lose his Stalkers I don't know. He might have enough firepower here to keep his Stalkers alive, and that force field coming out just in the nick of time. Looks like it was the sentry back here regenerating energy, but meanwhile more Zerglings come in, and the gas has been extracted for Hyun. He is researching metabolic boost. Very soon he is going to have Zergling speed, and a lot of Zerglings coming out here for Quantic Hyun, who is going to get the surround on these sentries and the probes. He is going to get a lot of probe kills here. 3 probes have gone down already. But was it worth it for that many Zerglings? It's questionable at this moment. When he really only killed off a few probes, I suppose, and he did some damage on the shields of these units. Meanwhile, he is still trying to continue flooding in with more Zerglings, but I think now the Protoss units have basically put themselves in there as a stopgap measure, as a wedge to prevent the Zerglings from being able to get right back into the natural expansion again. And this time around, even though Hyun has Zergling speed, I don't think he can really commit to an attack. Too risky. The Mothership Core will be brought out in order to scout to see, are there Banelings coming out here? Are there more Zerglings coming? Because at this moment, he really doesn't know how many bases Hyun has, how many Zerglings are coming for him, are there Banelings coming for him, do I need to hunker down and play a defensive game? So this Mothership Core is absolutely vital for the Protoss. And right now, it looks like Hyun, you know, with the great Zergling attack, is now starting to fall back into macro mode. He still has a handful of Zerglings on the map that were produced after the fact, and they won't actually be able to get any damage done at this point, but they will allow Hyun to control the Xel'Naga towers and get good vision as to when MC is going to make his push, and that is very important. As I said before, against a player like MC, you have to be careful and wary about about gateway attacks. He's very good about that, and we do have a Stargate actually coming up right now, so MC is going to look to bolster his ground army with a little bit of aerial support, most likely going to be in the form of Void Rays. We may see Tempest as not Tempest, but Phoenix as well. Oracles are pretty unlikely at this stage, but there is a couple of hallucinated Phoenix actually making their way out to the bottom left-hand corner of the map as we speak. There is a Roach Warren and a robotics facility on the way. These Phoenixes will see the Roach Warren, and they will see the lair coming up as well. Nothing too crazy, to be quite honest with you guys. You would expect to see a Zerg player getting those buildings around this moment in the game, and from there MC can kind of say, alright, there's no Baneling Nest, there's no Nidus or a quick lair, so I can probably go ahead and safely push out and grab my next expansion. And you guys can see right now, MC is doing exactly that, making his way out into the middle with his sentries and his stalkers, and he is going to try to throw a pylon up. Meanwhile, though, the Zerglings from Hyun trying to get another run by in, but MC has wisely blocked it off with a Zealot, and he is actually going to force field these Zerglings in as well, using some of his energy to guarantee a kill on that squad of Zerglings. So a nice play by MC, and it looks like he is going to get this Nexus down undeterred. Hyun will now need to think about his next move. The ball is in his court now. He can certainly make an attack with the roaches he's got. He's actually getting Glial Reconstitution, which is roach speed, and he's getting Burrow. Could certainly make something fancy happen here at this front door. On this map, you can also expand away towards the 6 o'clock if you are Zerg, and that is typically where you want to go. You want to go away from the Protoss and the Terrans. You don't want to ever expand towards them. And MC right now wisely adding on the robotics support bay, which is good because he's got a 3rd base now. He's got the 5th and 6th gas. You can afford Colossus, and Colossus are so good against Zerg. I mean, they're good against Terran too, but they devastate Zerg ground units. So I think it's a good idea overall to go ahead and start producing Colossus as soon as he can. He is also making Void Rays, in fact, out of that Stargate. So we are going to be seeing the Protoss Death Ball that is so prevalent now in PvZ. It's really a combination of Colossus, ground units, Void Rays. It's a return to the old school style of playing PvZ, but also towards the late game you can start to add in some Tempests and Carriers if you so choose to. With the Fleet Beacon. So very, very strong, powerful strategy, hard for most Zergs to deal with. I have seen Hyun use Swarm Host very effectively against late game Protoss, but it looks like this game he is going to stick more to Quick Hive, and we may see Roach Hydra Viper as the Phoenixes now begin to fly in and get a bit of a scouting info into the Zerg bases. More information, but they do see that Hydralistan, I believe. We'll see if MC saw it. No, he did not see the Hydralistan in the background, but I think, you know, as Protoss, you're going to be dealing with two things. You're going to be dealing with either Swarm Host late game or you're going to be dealing with Hydra, Roach, Viper. Ultralists are also possible as well, Ultra Zergling, but a little less common, I think, against Protoss. So one of the three above options are what MC is going to be dealing with, and because he scouted the Roach Warren and he didn't see like infestors or any large amount of Zerglings with his Phoenix, I think he can deduce that with the Roaches there must come Hydras, and with that he is going to be very smart here to get extended thermal lance, and he's adding on Stargates as well, which is interesting. Usually against Roach, Hydra, Viper, you don't want to go too heavy into Stargate early on because of the prevalence of Hydralisks, but having said that, carriers are still they are such a good unit. We'll see if he adds in Fleet Beacon, because carriers can rip apart Hydras when played correctly. Right now, Hyun is at 184 supply compared to 151. Not too many workers have gone down this game, nor have too many units. Really, there was a little bit of aggro in the beginning, but now things have settled down as the two Korean Protosses are now on 3 bases and 4 bases respectively. And yes, we do have Vipers being added in right now. So Hyun will be going with Roach, Hydra, Viper, and MC will need to have a well-rounded Protoss army in order to deal with this. Another way to combat Vipers is to include High Templar in your army as well, because with High Templars you can actually feed back the Vipers as they get closer and closer. So that's another pretty good strategy for MC. Here comes some more Phoenixes for the Protoss player. He is going to try to get a scout into the Zerg main once again. There is an Ultralisk Cavern on the way, in fact. Didn't expect to see that, but it's always nice to have options at your disposal. And so these Phoenixes shooting the Vipers whenever they can. Getting a couple of fun pot shots off, but of course they don't actually do any damage as they are hallucinations. Here comes Hyun though with his ground army, very big ground army. Currently only has +1 weapons though, but the same holds true for the Protoss army. Here comes the Roaches, Hydras, and Zerglings. Where is the Colossus fleet? They are going to come back here. Will they be able to save this Nexus in time? Unlikely, I think. But we'll see, as here comes the Vipers. They are going to abduct the Colossus and put them out of position right in the confines of the Roaches and Hydralisks. MC immediately pulling them back. The Void Rays charging up Prismatic Alignment. Meanwhile, the Nexus taking a beating from the Zerglings and the Roaches. The Nexus is going to go down. Meanwhile, the Hydras have all dropped as well. So these Void Rays, even though they are not that great against most units that are unarmored, they are still going to be very good here, because just there is no way to take them out, as all the Hydras did go down. So Hyun here is going to have to add in a lot of Hydralisks into his army. In fact, we have 16 on the way right now, and I love what MC is doing. In response, he's actually adding in charge, which if you think about it, a lot of charge lots can overwhelm Hydralisks very easily. Even though Hydras have speed nowadays, a ton of Hydras can get taken out very, very quickly. So I like the idea to go with charge, and he's also adding in Templar Archives right now to get the Templars that he'll need in order to feed back the Vipers and to storm the Roaches and Hydras. So overall, really like what MC is doing, and right now he is a little bit behind in this game though. He is at 158 supply. He's actually losing to Hyun right now, so that is not good. I think that last battle obviously did go in Hyun's favor, because Hyun, he was able to take out all the ground troops, the Colossus, the Sentries, all the Stalkers, and the only thing he really lost to was the air battle, the Void Race, but he pulled back a lot of his Zerg units, so he didn't lose everything. And now he's replenished, and look at how many Roaches and Hydras he's got. This is a massive Zerg army, and I don't know if MC is going to have enough to deal with this. He does have a lot of Void Rays. Psionic Storm will not be done quite yet, but Charge will be. Is Charge going to be enough? I don't think so. There's just not enough Zealots to make use of the Charge. Mothership Core has been abducted. All the Void Rays turning on Prismatic Alignment, and that was not good for MC, because he's not actually fighting right now. He'd much rather wait for more units to come out for Storm to finish. So very poor decision there to turn on Prismatic Alignment. It's a power-up he will need to deal with the Roaches, and now he's forced to fight, and man, these Hydras are just going to have a heyday against these Void Rays, I believe, although Hyun was not focusing the Hydras down. Hyun was not focusing the Void Rays down, and so the Hydras actually end up all falling to the Void Rays, and once again a bit of a stalemate, as Hyun will have to pull back his forces. But isn't really a stalemate when you think about it. It isn't, because if you think about it, MC lost a lot more than Hyun did, and the units lost tab looks pretty close, but the fact of the matter is, MC now is regulated to only having an air army, and you know, he continues to lose everything on the ground, and the strength of a Protoss in the late game is having a well-defined Protoss ball of units. And if you keep losing your forces like this, you know, MC still cannot get to a max supply, and that really doesn't bode too well for MC, especially when Hyun has a larger bank, or did have a larger bank than the Protoss player did. So he's able to remax really quickly. He's got another huge swarm of Hydras, and I don't think this time these Hydras are going to die to the Void Rays. It's highly unlikely. They do have +2 weapons and +1 armor, but there is a Templar on the field now, so that could be the equalizing factor. If MC can get some really good storms down, we'll see what happens. It looks like storm number 1 has come, storm 2, storm 3, and storm 4. I think number 3 was really nice. The other storms did a decent job as well. Are there enough Void Rays to take out these Hydras? I don't know. It's going to be really close, and at least half the Void Rays, maybe more, going down there to the Hydralisks. And now there are only 3 left remaining. So remember what I said about how, you know, MC has to keep his ground army alive? Now he's lost his air army as well, and things are getting pretty bleak here for MC. He's only at 107 supply. Obviously, he did kill off a decent chunk of Hyun's army, but Hyun's got 5 bases here, so he can replenish very quickly. And in fact, I'm a little surprised he hasn't, has he main-arted his drones? Yeah, there we go. A couple of drones coming over here to this expansion. But he should certainly think about transferring as many workers as he can to those new expos and start to saturate them, because he's got the base advantage. I certainly think he's got the map control on his side. Creep tumors are now starting to reach over to the Protoss area, and MC is starting to struggle here for gas and money. He doesn't have a 4th base, and he never really had it. He lost it to an earlier attack, and that Burrowed Zergling has stayed there to make sure that no new real estate comes up. So MC now starting to get a little pigeonholed, and to be honest with you guys, MC's strength never really was the ultra late game. He was more of a 1 base, 2 base, 3 base max, I think, kind of Protoss player, and he was really good about that. His build orders were probably, and still probably are, among the best in the business for Protoss, at least. And I think, you know, into the late game, MC can struggle a little bit more than other players. So I think right now he's finding it hard to stand toe-to-toe with Hyun. Having said that, though, he's not out of the game yet. It's still, you know, if you look at it, he's only down by 29 supply. Both players' banks are considerably low, but this army from Hyun is just so big. Hydras and Vipers. Will there be enough Psionic Storm from MC? That's what it's going to come down to. If he has enough Storm and he lands them right on the Zerg army, then he might be able to win this battle yet. We'll see what happens. The Templars are exposed in the front. They've got to be careful. One Templar going in sends a feedback out. All the Vipers getting feedbacked, in fact, but now there isn't any energy for Storm, which is a big problem, because these Hydras, I don't know, actually, there are some Zealots in the front, and there is a Colossus and a few Archons coming in. The Archons getting recycled by the Templar. Actually, not a bad job here from MC, but at the end of the day, he has to GG, for the reasons I said before. You know, he's basically out of bases, he's out of money, and he has to call GG, even though he won the fight. You know, it just kind of sucks to be in the spot that he's in, and he's going to be dealing with 20 Mutalisks very shortly as well, too. So, yeah, that was a well-played game, but unfortunately, like I said, I think MC's weakness in the late game, if you can call it a weakness, comparatively to a player like Hyun, I think, kind of caught up with them. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and of course, this is HD signing out.